Okay, so buckle up, everybody, because this deep dive, well, it's going to take us a little further off the map than usual. Yeah, we're swapping out the usual research articles and books for something a little different. We're diving into a channeled message from a being called Kryon.
Right.
Yeah, you heard me right. Channeled message. Now, before you think we've gone totally off the deep end, stick with us. Even I was a little skeptical at first, I'll admit it. But I'm telling you, tucked within this mystical conversation, there are some seriously intriguing ideas that really got me thinking.
Absolutely.
And that's really what we're all about, right?
Yeah, and I think what we're doing today is less about accepting every single word as gospel and more about, approaching these concepts with an open mind.
Right.
And what we found were really interesting echoes of, ancient beliefs, whispers of modern psychology, and even a touch of that, hey, maybe we're all connected kind of cosmic responsibility.
Right.
It's out there.
It's juicy.
Yeah.
So we're diving into this YouTube video, and it features a live Q&A with Kryon. And one of the first things that jumped out at me was Kryon's description of low vibration entities as parasites, not just, bad vibes, but like actual entities that can like latch onto us.
Yeah.
And they can influence our thoughts and our actions.
Ooh, that's a chilling thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's almost like those old stories about demonic possession, where malevolent spirits were thought to control people. But here's where it gets really, really interesting, is we can actually see some parallels in modern psychology, too.
Okay, I am intrigued. Tell me more.
Well, think about like intrusive thoughts, right? That negative self-talk, those like nagging voices of doubt that I think pretty much everybody experiences. What if those are like a modern interpretation of these parasitic entities?
Whoa. So looking at negativity through that lens, does that mean we're like off the hook for our actions? Like if these outside forces are influencing us?
Kryon says, not so fast.
Yeah, he really emphasizes personal responsibility. Even when we're facing these influences, he talks about actively cultivating positive energy, almost like we're building up our spiritual immune system against these darker energies. He even suggests visualizing a golden light surrounding you,
Right.
kind of push back the shadows.
It's less about being a victim and more about becoming a warrior for your own well-being. Like you're armed with awareness and intention.
Exactly.
That's like when you catch yourself spiraling into negativity and you have to consciously choose to shift your focus, change the channel in your mind.
Yeah.
Like, nope, not today.
Exactly. You're
Yeah.
essentially evicting those parasitic thoughts by choosing a different vibration. You're reclaiming your power. And this leads us to another really fascinating point that Kryon makes, and that is the idea of shared souls. Oh yeah, that one really threw me for a loop. He describes two great brothers inhabiting one body, which I gotta say, that's a concept that's pretty hard to wrap our human brains around. It's like trying to imagine one radio playing two stations at the same time. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it's definitely a mind bender. This idea really resonates with me with the concept of a higher self, a more unified aspect of our consciousness that exists beyond our everyday awareness. Think of it like an iceberg.
Yeah.
What we see on the surface, that's just a tiny fraction of the whole thing. Maybe these great brothers represent different facets of this higher self working in unison.
So we're not just dealing with individual souls, but potentially a more interconnected web of consciousness. Man, that's heavy stuff. Speaking of interconnectedness, Kryon's response to a question about Mary Magdalene really caught my attention. Someone asked about her right to be helped, and his answer was really interesting.
It is telling, isn't it? Kryon's point is that true spiritual help isn't about some divine being swooping in to save the day. It's about us aligning with spiritual laws through our own actions, our own personal transformations.
Okay, so no cosmic shortcuts, no free passes. You're saying Mary Magdalene, according to Kryon, earned her spiritual support through her own inner work.
Exactly. It's about putting in the effort, doing the tough inner work, and raising our vibration. It's about becoming the kind of person who attracts the help we seek.
Okay, I can see how that applies to like our spiritual journeys, but how can we like practically apply this concept of correspondence to our everyday lives?
Well, think of it like this. Instead of waiting for a lucky break or for a savior to magically appear, we need to become active creators of our own reality. It's about understanding that we are not separate from the universe, but active participants in this cosmic dance of cause and effect. Our thoughts, words, and actions all create ripples in this dance.
So aligning our inner world with the outcomes we desire, taking responsibility for our energy, because we get back what we put out there.
Precisely. And this brings us to another really intriguing idea from Kryon, the idea of a cosmic game and our predetermined roles within it. He even touches on concepts like karma and pre-life agreements, which, let's be honest, always make for a very lively discussion.
Oh, for sure. It's a concept that's both empowering and a little unnerving, On the one hand, it suggests that we chose this life, this journey with all its challenges and triumphs. But then it makes you wonder, if everything is predetermined, do we really have free will?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Hmm.
But I would caution against interpreting this cosmic game as pure fatalism. Kryon seems to really emphasize that awareness and choice still play a very crucial role.
So it's less about being puppets on a string and more like we're handed a script, but we get to decide how we play the part.
Exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot between acceptance and agency, recognizing that we're part of something much bigger than ourselves, while still embracing our ability to choose, to evolve, to make a difference.
I like that. So recognizing that we have a role to play in this grand cosmic drama, but the beauty is in the performance and the choices we make within that role. Speaking of roles, Kryon also dives into humanity's, let's call it, fondness for conflict and war.
Yeah, he even talks about our DNA. And he was asked if this tendency for conflict, is it like hardwired into us, or is it a result of outside influences? What did you make of that?
This is where Cryon's explanation, I think, gets really fascinating. And it actually ties back to what we were discussing earlier about energy. He suggests it's less about having a specific war gene and more about the spectrum of energy that's present within our, I don't know, cosmic neighborhood, I guess you could say.
Okay, so not necessarily hardwired for battle, but maybe more like we're susceptible to certain energetic influences. Exactly. Kryon explains that our solar system has this whole range of frequencies, from the densest, fear-based vibrations all the way up to the highest expressions of love and light. And for a variety of reasons, humanity's been tuned into the lower, denser frequencies for a very long time.
So we're like those moths drawn to a not-so-great cosmic flame. It's like we've been stuck in a cosmic basement, surrounded by, shadows and echoes of conflict. But if there are these higher frequencies available, wouldn't that mean we have the potential to evolve beyond these warlike tendencies?
That's the hope, right?
Yeah.
Kryon seems to believe we do have that potential. But it requires a collective shift in consciousness, turning away from those lower vibes and making a conscious choice to embrace our higher selves.
A tall order, for sure. But if we want a different future, a more peaceful and harmonious existence, then that internal transformation seems crucial, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And this brings us to another fascinating, if somewhat cryptic part of Cryon's message. A cautionary tale involving Atlantis and Mars. He seems to suggest that their fates were tied to choices made by their inhabitants.
Yes, this part was particularly intriguing. It's almost like he's drawing a parallel between those ancient civilizations and our situation here on Earth, He seems to be asking, are we repeating those same patterns of self-destruction?
It's a chilling thought, especially considering the environmental crisis that we're facing. Are we on a similar trajectory to those lost civilizations? Or do we have the collective wisdom to choose a different path?
That's the question Kryon seems to be posing to all of us. He suggests that the fate of those civilizations, and potentially our own, it isn't simply a matter of chance or external forces. It's about the choices made by the beings who inhabit those worlds. It's about the collective vibration, the energy we choose to embody.
So it's not just about recycling and reducing our carbon footprint, though those are really important steps. It's about something much deeper. A transformation of consciousness, a shift in our values and priorities.
Exactly. Are we willing to confront our own darkness, to heal the wounds of the past, to make different choices for ourselves and for future generations? That's the challenge Kryon lays at our feet. He suggests that our true role in caring for Earth is less about external actions and more about this internal transformation.
Okay, so it's not just about saving the planet, but also about saving ourselves. About recognizing that we're not separate from nature, but rather intricately connected to the well-being of this planet and all its inhabitants.
Precisely. And that brings us to Kryon's final message about humanity's true role. A message I found both challenging and profoundly hopeful. You see, Kryon suggests that humanity's true power doesn't lie in all our fancy technology and, even our ability to reshape the physical world. It lies in something else.
What could be more powerful than all that?
Well, he says it's our capacity for love.
Love. Whoa, that took an unexpected turn. It's like we zoomed from the edge of the cosmos straight to the depths of the human heart. So not spaceships and,
Right.
Colonizing planets, but cultivating a more loving and compassionate way of being.
Exactly. And get this, Kryon believes that if enough people, like a critical mass, were to truly embrace this love, embrace this inner light, that it could actually create a ripple effect across the entire planet.
Hold on, are we talking about like a collective shift in consciousness here, a critical mass of love that could actually change humanity's trajectory, maybe even the fate of Earth itself?
That's exactly what he's suggesting. It's a bold claim, but it
Yeah.
does resonate with a lot of spiritual traditions.
Mm.
This idea that our individual inner state can actually influence our collective reality. I mean, it's pretty mind-blowing when you really think about it.
It's like we're each holding a piece of this puzzle. And it's only when we come together, hearts and minds aligned, that the full picture of humanity's potential can be revealed.
That's a beautiful way to put it. Yeah, it reminds us that we're not just these individuals stumbling around,
Mm.
but we're part of a larger cosmic web of consciousness,
Yeah.
you know, all interconnected. And, that brings us right back to where we started, to those low vibration entities that Kryon described as parasites.
Right.
Yeah.
Those energy suckers, feeding off fear and negativity. So if love is the antidote, if it's the key to raising our vibration and taking back our power, how do we cultivate more of it? And I don't just mean like romantic love, but that deep, unconditional love for ourselves and for others.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's no, easy answer. But Kryon does offer some clues. He talks about self-acceptance, forgiveness, recognizing our own divinity.
So doing that inner work, healing past wounds, letting go of those limiting beliefs and self-judgment, embracing our imperfections and seeing ourselves as worthy of love just as we are.
Exactly. It's
Oh.
about recognizing that the same light that shines within those great brothers Kryon described, that same spark of divinity resides within each and every one of us.
Wow, that's a powerful thought, to realize we're not just these flawed humans trying to make sense of a chaotic world, but beings of light capable of love, compassion, and incredible transformation.
And that's precisely Cryon's point. He's reminding us of our true nature, our inherent power,
Mhm.
and the profound impact our choices have, not just on our own lives,
Yeah.
but on the fate of humanity and even the cosmos itself.
I have to say, that's a lot to unpack from a single YouTube video. I mean, Cryon's message is full of hope and possibility, but he doesn't shy away from the challenges that we face, both as individuals and as a species.
That's right. He's not sugarcoating reality. He's empowering us to face it head on, with a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in this grand scheme of things.
Recognizing that we're not helpless victims of fate, right? We're active participants in this unfolding story of creation, and that the choices we make individually and collectively, they really do matter.
Absolutely. And that brings us, I think, to one of the most intriguing questions raised in this cosmic conversation. If humanity has the power to influence the fate of planets, to shift the energy of an entire solar system through love and conscious choice, what does that mean for us here and now on Earth?
That is the question, isn't it? If Kryon is right, if our individual inner states contribute to our collective fate, what choice will we make?
Will we continue down this path of conflict and self-destruction, repeating the patterns of those lost civilizations? Or will we rise to the challenge, embrace our higher selves, and create a future worthy of our true potential?
Big questions for sure. While this deep dive into Cryon's message has definitely given us more to think about than our usual stack of research, I gotta say, I'm feeling a renewed sense of wonder about the mysteries of the cosmos and our place in it all.
Me too. And I think that's the beauty of exploring these spiritual and metaphysical concepts. It's not about finding all the answers right. It's about asking better questions, expanding our awareness, and opening ourselves up to new possibilities.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? It's like we've caught this glimpse of this cosmic tapestry,
Yeah.
all woven with these threads of energy connecting planets and souls, and even the fates of entire civilizations.
Yeah.
We may not fully understand the pattern, but you can't help but feel this sense of awe and maybe a little responsibility for our own small part in it all.
You've hit the nail on the head, I think. That's the core of Cryon's message, right? This
Yeah.
idea that we're not just along for the ride in some kind of predetermined universe. We are active weavers of our own destiny, both as individuals and as a species.
And maybe, just maybe, if we can tap into that wellspring of love within ourselves, if we choose compassion over conflict, forgiveness over fear, maybe we can help weave a brighter future, not just for ourselves, but for all of humanity and this little blue planet we call home.
What a powerful thought to end on. It's a good reminder that even amidst all the chaos and uncertainty of the world, there's always hope. And that power to create positive change,
Right.
it really does reside within each and every one of us.
Well, that's it for our deep dive into the spiritual side of cosmology. We really hope this conversation sparked your curiosity, maybe challenged some assumptions, and who knows, maybe even inspired you to tap into your own inner light a little bit. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.